Okay, I'm going to talk about a little bit about cryptocurrencies tonight. I'm going to talk about what has been developing over the past in the cryptocurrency space over the past few number of months and stuff. It's an ever-changing marketplace. It's in its infancy and it's developing. Bitcoin has always tended to be the number one coin. Uh, these contenders, they come and they go, but Bitcoin's always been number one. But now it's starting to develop into a scene where there's a number of the best currencies. We'll call them the best currencies. You have Ethereum, you have Bitcoin, and in my estimation, you have Litecoin. Those three. I think those are the three top currencies. Now, what I want to say about Ethereum is Ethereum's setup is totally different than Bitcoin. Uh, Bitcoin is a speculator's wet dream. Bitcoin is there's only ever going to be 21 million of these things, and you have to understand that a lot of them are going to be lost. Through one of the ways they're lost is there's always little tiny fractions that are left in the back end of a wallet someplace, and you forget you left the wallet there. You put the wallet into a computer or something, and you extract the Bitcoin, some of the Bitcoins, and move them out, and there's always like maybe 200,000 Satachis left in the wallet, and you forget it's there. Or there might be some guy left over from mining in his mining address, where he's been mining them. He might have a 2 or 3, 400,000 Satachis left there, and the mining company maybe not doesn't check his account for a long time or whatever. And sometimes big chunks of them are lost, where one guy had I think it was 7,000 or something in his laptop, and his wife or girlfriend or something threw it in the dump, and they were on the hard drive. Stuff like that. And so a lot of them are lost, but there's only like going to be a very hard limit. And so Bitcoin, even though it has a few scaling issues, these scaling issues aren't that bad. I mean, people complain and say, oh, it took me 3 days to get my Bitcoin verified on the network. That's because you didn't put any payment with it. You know what I mean? And still, the scaling issues aren't that bad. But they do prohibit it from becoming worldwide adoption where it would constantly be exchanged in massive quantities over the internet very quickly. This is where Bitcoin differs from Ethereum. Ethereum is setting itself up to become the world's first actual cryptocurrency. Now, what I actually mean by that, I know they call Bitcoin a cryptocurrency, but Bitcoin is more like internet money. Now, you have to understand the difference between currency and money. Currency is like your dollar bills, like your fiat currency you have now. It's not even real money. Real money is gold and silver. That's money. Bitcoin is set up to become the first internet money, actual money. Money is deflationary, whereas these other cryptocurrency, to be a true cryptocurrency, you need to be inflationary. Now, a lot of these people out there, they're confused. They don't know the difference really between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And they are speculating in Ethereum like they do in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the most wonderful thing to speculate in. It's going to go up and up and up and up and up. Unless they kill it. Unless the central bankers figure out some way of coming along and killing it. And I think it's very possible that they might. I think it's actually a beta test, and that's what their plan was. But they might not be successful in killing it. And even if they do kill it, it's probably going to go up to mega high extreme prices before they finally actually succeed in killing it. But if they do kill it, the money is going to swing over probably to Litecoin. Litecoin's very similar to Bitcoin, except there's 4 times as many Litecoins, and Litecoin has a little bit faster transmission speed than Bitcoin. But Litecoin, too, is a speculator's wet dream. But Ethereum's not, sad to say. So a lot of speculators, a lot of people now are speculating in Ethereum. They're investing money in Ethereum, and yeah, the price is going up, but you have to take a look at the actual underpinnings of the actual numbers game of Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin, you got a hard cap of 21 million. There'll never be more Bitcoins in existence than the hard cap. With Litecoin, it's 4 times that. I think it's something like, 84 million or something? That's still not very many, and that's a hard cap. But what about Ethereum? Well, there's no cap at all. There is no cap. It's just like fiat currency. They don't have a cap on the US dollars. They can make as many as they want. And this is the way with Ethereum. And they're going to be making like 60 million of them a year. Year in, year out, year in, year out. What's that going to do? That's 3 times as many as there are Bitcoins in existence every year. So if you're a speculator and you think to yourself, hey, I'm going to buy into Ethereum instead of Bitcoin because Ethereum's price has been going up really good and their market cap's going up and they're going to be worth more than Bitcoin. You say to yourself, someday they'll be worth more than Bitcoin. You better think again, buddy. They're not going to be worth very much at all compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to fly up in price because of the hard limit of only 21 million. That limit makes it very, very deflationary, Bitcoin. And this makes it a speculator's dream. It is going to keep going up and up and up in price unless they kill it. And I say, maybe they can't kill it. I don't know. And maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe there really is no plan to actually kill it. And it's a beta test. I don't know that for absolute sure. That's something I'm speculating on, that it's a beta test. But why I think it's a beta test is there's a number of reasons. I've went over them in some of my other videos. But it is speculation on my part. But one of the things I can tell you for absolute certainty, that's not speculation on my part, is that Bitcoin is set up, because there's a hard limit of only 21 million, it's set up to become worth more and more and more and more and more. And just keep going up endlessly. And the more people that invest in it, as it continues to go up higher and higher and higher, more people will get inside and come invest in it. And then it just goes up higher, and then more, and that makes people more excited and come invest in it, and it just keeps going up higher, and it keeps making these stair steps up, just like the mining for it continues to get harder and harder and harder. It's designed that way. It's designed, it'll be more precious in the end. If it continues this path, and it doesn't stop, it could very well go to $1 million a coin. That's why I say it's a speculator's wet dream. Now, what about Litecoin? Litecoin is following the same idea, except it's only going to be worth 25% of what a Bitcoin is. But if a Bitcoin goes to $1 million, Litecoin could be a $250,000 coin each. And so you're getting in on the ground floor of Litecoin right now. So if you haven't got as much money as you got for Bitcoin, you can get on the ground floor of Litecoin. But what about Ethereum? Well, with them making 60 million Ethereum as every year, next year there'll be twice as many Ethereums as there are this year. Where Bitcoin, there's going to be less Bitcoin next year probably, or just not many more than there is this year because they're losing them. Like I say, they lose them here and they lose them there. They lose little pieces of them here and lose little pieces of them there. Speculators buy them up and put them on a wallet and just leave them there. They're gone to the marketplace when that happens. And an awful lot of speculators are doing that. They're just putting them away and holding them. And they're gone to the marketplace. So they're disappearing. And so there's going to be less Bitcoins on the market to be sold next year than there are this year. But what about Ethereum? Well, with them making 60 million every year, there'll be twice as many Ethereums on the market next year as there are this year. What about Bitcoin? There'll probably be less Bitcoins on the market next year than there are this year. What about Ethereum again? There'll be way more on the market next year than this year. So that means the Ethereum price is more than likely going to maybe hold its own or maybe even drop back a little bit. Now, if you're a speculator, is that what you want to invest in? Do you actually want to invest in something that's going to, maybe you're going to pay $200 for it this year, and next year it's going to be worth $150? Doesn't sound so good, does it? Now, because of the amount they're making every year. And they're an inflationary coin, where Bitcoin's a deflationary coin. So what'll happen with Bitcoin next year? Well, it'll probably be worth twice as much as it is this year. So which one do you want to put your money in if you're a speculator? Now, let's talk about what Ethereum is actually good for. Being as if it's not really good for that good for speculation, what is it good for? I'll tell you what it's good for. It is a currency, whereas Bitcoin is money. And there's a big difference between currency and money. Currency is like your fiat currency you have in your wallet right now. That's currency. Your gold that you have stored in the safety deposit box at the bank, that is money. That's the difference. Now, Bitcoin is money, whereas Ethereum is currency. This is the difference. And they both have different uses. Currency is good for exchange and good for sending across the internet as value. So if your Ethereum's worth $200 a coin, then it's great to transmit value across the internet to buy something. It's the first real digital currency, whereas Bitcoin is the first real digital money. You see the difference? One's money, one's currency. Now, a lot of you guys are collecting Ethereum thinking it's the same as Bitcoin. It's not the same. It's not the same thing because of the protocol. This is what the difference is. With Ethereum, there's no cap. They can make as many of them as they want. They can make billion, trillion, zillion of them. And in the end, they'd be worth almost nothing. And in fact, they're making 60 million new ones every year. Whereas Bitcoin, that's 3 times as many Bitcoin that'll ever be in existence. Every year they're making Ethereum that many more. But Bitcoin is just so rare. So what'll happen in the end? Now that we've talked that through, and now I think you pretty much understand where I'm going with this, what'll actually happen in the end? Well, I'll explain it. What's going to happen in the end is Bitcoin is going to be used. It's going to go up and up and up and up and up in the value. Now, if the bankers can't kill it, and there is a chance they won't be able to kill it. I'll tell you what. I got a Bitcoin. I got one. I'd like to have 2. I got one, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to hang on to it until it's really worth like $1 million. And if they kill it, well, I've lost it. Then I've lost it. I'm willing to lose it. But I'm willing to hang on. I'm not going to let go of that sucker. And the reason why I'm not going to let go of that sucker is I'm watching the value of him go up and up and up and up and up. And I'm thinking that maybe it might be worth $1 million someday, because if they don't kill it, that's the nature of the beast. It's a speculator's wet dream. It's Bitcoin is. It's gold. It's money. And it's going to continue to go up and up and up. And so what will happen in the end is they'll be using Bitcoin for large voluminous transactions of money over the internet. So if a billionaire wants to send $1 billion across the internet, he'll use Bitcoin. He'll buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. And he'll send his $1 billion across the internet at high speed. Now, what about Litecoin? Litecoin will be similar, but with a quicker transmission speed, but it'll carry the transactions Bitcoin won't carry. So it'll be used to carry voluminous amounts of money across the internet and high-speed transactions as well. But now, what about Ethereum? Ethereum is what they're going to use for their day-to-day transactions. It's going to be the actual currency of the internet. It's going to be the actual nuts and bolts. You want to buy a cup of coffee, Ethereum. You want to buy that piece of luggage or something, or you want to buy that new lamp at the store, Ethereum. You know, you want to make that $100 purchase, Ethereum. Boom, bada bang. It's quick, it's fast, it's easy, and it's going to be digital money. The first digital currency, actual currency, to be used over the internet. That's what Ethereum would be used for. But if all these speculators find out too fast what I'm talking about, and they all listen to what I'm saying here, and they all start to dump the Ethereums because they realize that I'm right, and that they start to buy back into. See, what happened is a lot of speculators out there got frightened of Bitcoin because of the scaling issues, and they bought into Ethereum, and they've jacked the price way up. So Ethereum is riding high for what Ethereum should be worth right now. They're speculating in it, and I think they're speculating out of pure, sure ignorance of the real facts. They've just all hoarded in. They saw the price going up, and they thought, okay, this is another Bitcoin, and it'll be worth as much as Bitcoin. And they don't realize the real facts behind the whole issue. And they've driven that price up on it. And I think that the price of Ethereum actually could come down, whereas Bitcoin has a lot of room yet to grow in price, higher and higher and higher. And the same with Litecoin. If Litecoin's number 2, the same thing with Litecoin. And eventually, all of the speculators out there who are buying into gold and silver and stuff, speculating on that, are gonna come in to the Bitcoin and Litecoin, and they're gonna go big. That's if the well, I'll tell you one other thing about it before I end this video. Is if they there's only one way they can really well the biggest way, I think. I shouldn't say there's only one way, but because I don't really know what they got up their sleeve. But if Bitcoin really is a beta test, and if they want to kill it, the way I would think that they would kill it is in speculating, because this is all just speculation about it being a beta test. But if it was a beta test and they actually did want to kill it, how I think that they would accomplish this is by making Bitcoin into an exchange-traded fund. And then what they would do is they would drive the price of Bitcoin as an exchange-traded fund. They would drive the price of Bitcoin up. And as they did that, what would happen is that after a while, the exchange-traded fund would start to be the price of Bitcoin. The Bitcoin would follow the price of the exchange-traded fund. It would separate. So if you could call it physical Bitcoin, there really is no such thing as physical Bitcoin, but the Bitcoin that you can store in your actual wallet rather than the exchange-traded fund at first would be what sets the price. But after a while, the price would start to follow the ETF instead of the actual Bitcoin. And after a while, it would detach, and the price would be what they were charging for the ETF. And after it got detached long enough, then they could manipulate the price up and down by manipulating the price of the ETF up and down. At that point, that's when they could kill it, because then they could drive the ETF down and destroy the price of Bitcoin. That's what they would have to do. But this would all take quite a little while to do it that way, and they would have to drive the price of Bitcoin up to extremely high as an ETF to make it detach. So to detach it, they would probably have to drive it up to a minimum of $10,000 a coin to actually detach it. That would be the first step to actually destroying Bitcoin. That would be the first step. So you'd be looking at $10,000 a coin minimum. And so, other than that, I don't, other than maybe some other sort of issue coming along where Bitcoin actually freezes on the network or something. And I don't really see that happening. Some sort of software issue. Other than that, I don't see any end to this. Bitcoin's just going to keep riding higher and higher and higher. Because it's so limited. It's like I say, it's a speculator's wet dream. It's a speculator's there's never been anything that you can speculate in ever that's so limited in numbers, and the whole world's coming in on it to use for transactions. It's just unbelievable. How high can it go? Well, I'll give you a little example, and I know I've been talking for quite a long time, but let's take a look over there at China. China's trying to, the people in China are speculating. They suck the most all the Bitcoins up themselves. They could take them all and not leave any for anybody else in the world. But now the Indians in India, the Indian people are hopping on board. They want them, and they could take them all. They're a big enough country. They could, 20 million, I mean, they could take them all. And then Africa's going to want them all too. And in America could take them all. But they're going to have to be divided amongst all of these nations, all the nations of the earth. And there's only like, how many's in existence right now? 16 million? How many people is on the earth? So what fraction of a Bitcoin does people get if they were to spread them across all the people on earth? 7 or 8 billion people, and only 16 million Bitcoins. And when you consider now that most of the Bitcoins are being held by very few people, what do you got left for all the people to use for transactions and stuff? And they're all going to want them. I can just see the price going up and up and up and up and up. And as Bitcoins are lost, fractions and little pieces of Bitcoins are lost, these gets more rare. It's just an endless cycle. And the more people that get excited and come in and start buying into this, and the higher the price goes, it's just a vicious cycle that feeds upon itself. And at the end, it's just higher and higher and higher prices. And people just wonder, well, how high can this thing go? And the higher it goes, the more confidence people get in it. This is one of the things that drove it down originally, back when I was like the Mt. Gox era. You know, and I watched the price, and this is one of the reasons why I was still nervous of it. But this prices that it's going to now is giving me confidence, renewed confidence in Bitcoin. And looking at it and examining it, I can see that how high could this thing go? Because the higher it goes, the more people are going to have confidence in it. Where people are losing confidence in the currencies, Bitcoin's money. It's like gold. It's real money. It's digital gold. So how high could this thing go? I don't know. It's never been anything like it before. There's no touchstone to understand how high this thing could actually go. So we can only speculate as to how high it can go and what could kill it. And that's what I've been doing tonight. I've talked about all three of these cryptocurrencies. Another currency I kind of like, cryptocurrency, is something similar to Bitcoin. It's called Dash. I really like Dash. I like it a lot. And I'm mining a few Dash. I got a GPU mining them. And I think it's a very interesting coin. It's very similar to Bitcoin, except it's got a little bit, from what I understand, a little bit faster transaction speed. So anyway, I know I talked quite a long time. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. And I hope I settled the issues in your mind between these three cryptocurrencies. And you have a better idea now which one you're going to invest in. I think probably the best one probably to invest in is probably Litecoin. I think it's very undervalued compared to Bitcoin, just like the real silver is undervalued compared to gold. This is a very similar issue where Litecoins right now are undervalued compared to Bitcoin. And Litecoins have already went through some of the scaling issues and come through the other side now. They've already installed SegWit on it. This looks like something really good, Litecoin. Okay, we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye bye for now.